Welcome back, friends. If you have been painting with me from the beginning, your paint should be dry by now, and we're going to start step 2, which is adding the details. So I have my white color pencil, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some squares and weird triangles and rectangles. So I'm going to draw a little white rectangle here, and I'm going to have it curve. Okay, I'm going to have it curve like that. And then I'm going to try and draw another one, and I'm going to have it curve like that. And then curve like that. And I'm going to have another one that goes here. And that's going to be like kind of like a triangle. And then I'm going to have another one that goes here and cuts through this one and then goes here like that. And I'm going to have another one that goes like that. Another one that goes here. And another one that goes through this one. Kind of stops here. Another one that goes there. Then I'm going to have another one that goes here. One that goes there. One that goes all the way down here and stops there. I have another one that comes here, then goes up right there. Another one that goes right there. And the last one right there. So I'm going to make these a little pointy. So what this is we're going to fill all that in with white paint. My easel's not cooperating with me. Then I'm going to draw a white line in this area here. This is where like you tie the balloon and there's a knot. The little round part where you would blow in, we're going to put a white line there on all of them. Now, what I'm going to do I'm rinsing off my brush and drying it. Now we're going to add white paint. I already have white paint in my palette. And then we're going to paint inside the shapes that we drew. All the shapes that we just drew, we're going to add some white paint to it. Then add another one here. This one is going to go into that one, and that's okay. So you're coloring all your shapes with white paint. I'm going to do this one. And then that one. Now I'm going to do this one. I think this one stops right here. And then continues right here. Let me do this one. Next, this one. I have one right here. One right here. Okay, I have this one here. The last one is this one here. So now I'm going to kind of smooth these out, all the wet spaces, because I want this to dry pretty quickly so I can go along, move on into the next step. So any part that's wet, I'm just going to go over it so that it blends into the dry parts and it dries faster. Okay, so these are going to be like, what do you call it? The highlights, or where you'd see the light in the balloons. Now we're going to wait for this to dry, and then once it is dry, we're going to go back over it with the violet again. So, do I have anything I can fan this with? No, I don't. But it's almost dry. Testing my areas to see if it's... Alright. So now, I'm going to wash off my brush. And then I'm going to go back with my violet paint and I'm going to kind of paint over it. I'm just going to paint over the white spaces. I'm taking some of this paint and I'm kind of outlining so I don't lose the balloon. I don't want this where you can't tell where one balloon begins and one ends. So I'm trying to be very careful when I am covering the white spaces, not to lose. My brush is getting a little too dry. Okay. Now I want this to dry again. I'm going to try to fan it so that it dries a little bit. Because the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go over it again with the color pencils. I'm going to go over it with the black first. So I'm going to outline the balloon with my black pencil. I'm following the line as best I can. For some of you, it may be easier to do this on the tabletop instead of with an easel, and that is fine. Whatever is comfortable for you. So now I'm going to follow this. I'm trying to not lose the shape of the balloon. So that is this one here. Now this I am used to doing on the table, but I am trying my best to do it on the easel so that you can see what it is. But it is actually kind of difficult for me to do this type of detail on the easel. I am one of those that feel more comfortable working on the table for this step. this following this balloon here. So those lines that I put earlier is helping me find the balloon. And my easel is not cooperating with me. This balloon is here. And I'm following that balloon. And that goes here. This one goes here. Goes over here. Now this one goes like that. Alright. So, you can pretty much see all the balloons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Now, what we want to do is for these, so I still have, so I have this tissue and I'm going to kind of go over the lines that I did to kind of lighten the pencil line. Well, this is still a little wet, so I need to be careful and make sure that your paper is dry when you're doing this step. So I'm going to kind of lighten the pencil mark here because I want this balloon to actually look like it's on top. So I'm going to lighten this either with your finger or you can use a tissue. But in my case I can't use a tissue because parts of my paper is still wet. So I'm making this lighter to where you can still see it, but I want to make this one a little darker. And then again, I have to be careful because my paper is not completely dry. So on this side, I'm going to make it darker too. Now for this one, this balloon here is on top. So I want to lighten the line for this balloon and this balloon to show that it's on the bottom. And my paper is still kind of wet there too. So I have to be very careful. You have to make sure your paper is dry. This easel is not cooperating with me today. Alright, so I'm making this line darker and this line darker. Alright, last thing I'm going to do is kind of gently go over the little white spaces with my color pencils. Very gently. Because my paper is still kind of wet and I don't want it to rip anymore. So I'm going over that with the white pencil. And I'm going to kind of blend it in with my finger. Very gently. Outline the a little bit better. All right. So, there we have it. Our 5 balloons. With tempera paint.